Hello everyone. It's a day. I'm not counting anymore because I decided not to count anymore. Welcome. This morning's been a lot of feelers. A lot of feelers have been happening. A lot of stuff that's been coming up. Right in here. This is an area that has stored a lot of grief inside of me. A lot of guilt, a lot of shame, mainly grief, and trying to be this person that I'm not, I think, is really what's stored in here. And not that I'm, being a person that I'm not, or being not necessarily that you're not these versions of yourself, or don't find interest in like the versions of yourself that you create to try to fit in, but just really releasing that neediness energy, that energy that I need to do this in order to fit in versus I want to do this because it's interesting to me. And that could be whether you like to do an activity, or you like something, or you like this book, or you like this genre, or you like this music, or you don't, and it's all these things that we try to merge into ourselves to make us more likable, or more wanted, or more lovable, or more acceptable, and have that sense of love and belonging. And this morning, for years, I've had kind of this pain here, and it comes and it goes. And I think little bits it releases more and more. And this morning I had a really big moment with myself where a lot of shame, a lot of guilt came up, and I was allowing myself just to really sit with it, like not trying to make sense of it, not trying to judge it, not criticizing it, not really processing the story, and it took work actually to be like, Brittany, take a step back. It's okay. You don't need to know all the answers right now, and to just sit and kind of like the shame that was coming up, the guilt, these feelings of you should have done better, you should have known better, all the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and honoring where I was and the responsibility that I took on at particular ages of my life, and allowing myself to sit with myself at those ages and just be present. And that's one of the most profound things that I feel like I've learned. And I would encourage anybody to really dive into is how to just sit with yourself and how to just be present to what's coming up, and how to accept yourself when things are coming up that you don't want to feel or you don't want to face. A New Earth is a great resource, The Power of Now, both by Eckhart Tolle. There's so many resources on YouTube, guys. I'm always on YouTube. Like, there's so many, and I truly believe that when we are in a space of like looking for answers, it doesn't matter if you're following, like if you like particular people that you follow, that's awesome, especially if it's around the content that you really appreciate. So you're kind of trusting their energy and where they're coming from. I think that's wonderful. I have a lot of people that I follow, and I know that I'm going to be getting really healing advice, and advice that's going to help me look at myself more, so it's like about understanding what kind of information you're looking at. But I also believe that there's something really big about just allowing yourself to trust whatever comes. Like sometimes I'll just open YouTube, or I'll look for information online about like a particular topic, And I just read whatever's there because I trust that whatever I read, whatever I come across was meant for me in some way or another. And I can gain value and benefit from anything. Like, literally, I don't feel like there's ever a mistake in what comes into our reality and what doesn't. And I truly feel that we can benefit and value from anything. So, like, just trusting what comes up. But look for resources outside of yourself as well to challenge yourself and complement what you're like the work that you're doing within yourself, and allow for synchronicities to happen and pay attention and welcome new ways of thinking, welcome in new perspectives. And that a lot of times is done through being present and just feeling what comes up and not attaching any stories, attaching any outcome, attaching any meaning, like, which is a practice in and of itself, is to be present. So allow yourself to practice every day. Just practice. Like, for the rest of your life, you're going to be practicing. I remember I was listening to a therapist and I was like, oh my gosh, this helps so much, like, they're like, it's called a practice for a reason. You're practicing with everybody, no matter how much of a, master you call yourself, you're always going to be practicing. It's a practice. So just know, even the people who are your gurus and people that you really admire, everyone's always practicing, including ourselves. Because that's how we grow, that's how we learn. So being present has really come up for me, and a lot with unconditional love as well is something that I'm working on. Is like, when I think of people, before I used to be really attached to what others thought of me, and that's something that I've been healing a lot of lately, is recognizing toxic relationships growing up and the meaning that I gave them, and like just the behaviors that were an effect of some of those relationships. And so really paying attention, and I guarantee you guys, the more that you are aware, like, I think, and I was one of these people to begin with, was like, it takes a lot of effort to shift and make new choices and be this other version that you want to be. And I used to believe that a lot. Wow, these are a lot cleaner. There's a big scratch, but wow, that's a big difference. I used to believe that it would take so much effort to be the person that I really ultimately wanted to be. And what I'm realizing now is that when we can bring our energy and really kind of bring our awareness to those parts of us that are needing attention, right? Those parts that we just have to be present with. All it requires is presence. And inviting in the concept, the idea of, okay, what is a reframe? How can I see this differently? How can I bring in and invite in a new energy? And just in asking those questions, you don't have to have all the answers. Like, I need to understand this differently. Just inviting in and then remain present again and see what comes. And in stepping in, making the choice to step into that and allow that new perspective to take form. And then even getting more and more curious, getting deeper and deeper. Like, this is an infinite universe. We could bring in so many different perspectives and paradigms and dimensions, right? Because there's always, all of the possibilities that could happen are always happening. So we could step into all of them. And once you allow yourself to invite in that energy, the shifts become easier. Right? Like, for example, And this is a big, profound moment for me today. And like the last couple of days, it's become more and more easy. It's like because I had like a lot of codependency, a lot of attachment, like unhealthy attachment to relationship and men, not men, but like intimacy, and like trusting men, trusting that the people that were closest to me would take care of me, right? So a lot of that has been coming up and just really old childhood stuff. And I'd always pray for unconditional love. Of course, unconditional love. Like we all pray for it. We all like put it in our affirmations. And then one day I was like, what does it feel like to experience unconditional love? What is it? You know, what is that? And what does it mean when people talk about unconditional love? I thought I have been loving unconditionally, you know? And over the last couple of days, like I've just been so encouraged to like think about certain people in my life. Like they'll come to the forefront, but then my energy, my heart is guiding me. What feels good? What feels heavy? What feels easy? What feels stuck, right? So what feels easy is thinking of an individual and just seeing them at their happiest. And before, another version of me would be like, oh, well, if I think of this person, and maybe they'll think of me, right? So it's that like condition that we put on it. It's an attachment. It's, I'm going to do this for you, and maybe you'll do something for me. And I had that, it was on autopilot, right? It was this needy energy. It was this codependent energy. It was I'm unsafe in my own frame, therefore I need external validation. My body is teaching me a new way, right? Because I'm just inviting in, what does it feel like? You know, what does it mean? How can I experience this? So my body's saying, okay, I will teach you. I will guide you. So just know that when we do want to experience a new version of us, when we want to experience a healthier way of doing something, of thinking a certain way, invite the question in. And it might take months, right? Because sometimes we have to break down our own barriers, our own blocks. And that could be through a means of coaches, that could be through a means of therapies, that could be through a means of body work and like somatic movement, right? We want to get the energy flowing, and we really want to invite all different forms to like help us through. And it could be courses, it could be listening to YouTube videos constantly, like really inviting in this other energy. But just having a trust that your body will show you, having a trust that you are guided, having a trust that what you want, you can attain just by being present, like really bringing in that presence. And what I learned so deeply, like, is just, okay, you can think of this person, right? They came to your mind. Wish them love. And that's it. See them laughing and smiling and just like dancing or running around, but just see them. And then anytime this part of me that comes up is like, oh, I wonder if, and it just feels really heavy and it feels mucky and it feels yucky and it feels grimy, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't really feel so good. But what does feel good is when I just see this person, because they came to my mind, I just see this person shining, like surrounded just with love, full of beautiful, bright, yellow light energy. That's what makes me feel good. That feels so good inside. That's unconditional love to me right now. That's what I'm being taught. So really sit with yourself, practice presence, and it's going to be a lifetime practice, but just bring it in. However you want to experience life, whatever you want to do in life, whoever you want to become, start asking yourself questions. You can write them down. That's even better. Just invite ideas. Know that you don't have to have any of the answers. Sometimes the bravest thing that you could possibly do is to invite a question in that will completely change your entire perspective. That is the bravest thing anybody can do. And then allow the universe to work its magic. Pay attention. Because once you ask the question, synchronicities are going to be popping. Synchronicities are always everywhere for us, all 100% of the time, always. It's how conscious and aware are we being with creating the life that we want. And sometimes the answers are definitely not what we expect. So that's why letting go of particular outcomes as to okay, I thought of this person, therefore it should happen this way, or I'm doing this, I'm thinking of this person with love, and that's it. Or I'm going to the gym because I want to go to the gym. Because it feels good to me to go to the gym. I'm not going to the gym to lose weight. I'm not going to the gym to do X, Y, and Z. I'm just going to the gym. So what if we started to live unconditionally? And we allowed life to just flow? That takes so much pressure off of living, and it invites in joy. It invites in playfulness. It creates space, right? Because we don't have that resistance. It creates space within us to enjoy what we're doing, which will then bring clarity as to, what do I enjoy doing? Why am I doing this? Or we can do things that we didn't enjoy before and bring a new meaning into it because we're just doing it now just because. What else could I work on, right? For me, for example, thinking about losing weight had so much resistance. Oh my God, there were so many rules. So many rules. There's this diet and that diet and take this vitamin and that. Go to the gym. I hated the gym because it wasn't fun, because I associated the meaning that I gave the gym was I have to go there to lose weight. Therefore, there's something wrong with me. And that was just a perpetuating cycle of shame and not having fun. I was just not having fun. And I hated it. And I'm working on I still don't love the gym. I love going to the gym to take showers and sit in the sauna because my shower is not very big where I live. I like being on the treadmill when it's really, really rainy out because I love walking. Walking is my processing. I love walking. That's where I'm at right now. That's okay. But what changed everything for me was when I started to learn more about body positivity. And when I started to really listen to myself, what makes me feel good inside? How can I love myself where I'm at right now and do things because I love to do them? And let everything else take care of itself. What if, right? Just what if? And granted, if you have, if you need to take medications, if you need X, Y, and Z, it's working within that frame. But this is where I am, right? This is my journey, is what if I could just work on this right now and begin to love myself and start to focus on what does make me feel good? What am I motivated to do every day just because? Not for any particular outcome. just because I really enjoy being there. And granted, sometimes, even with the things that we love the most, we have to kind of convince ourselves to do. You know, if we're going to a class, if we're going there every week, sometimes we have to convince ourselves, and that's different. It's different. It's okay to put effort into, like, convincing yourself, I know I'm going to feel good after I do this. But when we're so hyper-focused on a particular outcome that it's creating resistance and it's creating not a good feeling inside, then we have to take a step back at what's really happening right here. Why am I really doing this? And how can I bring in a new perspective? Inviting in questions, inviting in presence. I will talk to you all soon. I love you, and I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful Sunday.